So what is the XD Pro Braid? It is an 8+1 carrier braid, which means it's super smooth and a really round profile. Now what that achieves is absolute minimal friction as it goes through the rings, and make sure that it's really supple and casts like an absolute dream. It's 0.14, which is super low diameter, which reduces friction through the eyes and air resistance once you've made the cast. All of those things added together mean that your Spomb is going to travel a long way. Now with it being very, very thin, it means that you're going to have to treat it a little bit differently to the slightly more thicker braids. One thing that I like to do is add a cushion leader. So you want to double leader your Spomb setup, and a cushion leader is a length of monofilament that you put in between the end of the braid and your shock leader. And that helps add extra stretch in the setup, which means that when you're hitting the clip on really big casts at long ranges, you're going to get a longer lifespan of that braid. Because it's very thin, it does damage a bit more easily. So if you don't use a cushion leader, you are more likely to crack off. So what I use for a cushion leader is the Spomb Mono. This has been designed specifically for spomming, both as a real line monofilament and as this stretch leader. It's incredibly supple, it's really limp as it comes off the spool, it's low memory, and it's got that stretch, which is important for using on these cushion leaders. You don't want to be using a mono that doesn't have much stretch. It needs to be a stretchy monofilament. So the Spomb monofilament, it comes on a 300-meter spool, it's 11 pounds, it's low diameter as well, 0.26, and it makes that perfect join between your braid and your main shock leader. It's worth saying that this is a very specialised setup, and unless you're going to be fishing at extreme distances a lot of the time, you don't necessarily need a braid like the XD. You can use the X Pro or our standard Spomb braid if you're fishing closer range, if you're not doing the extreme stuff. But if you are going to somewhere, maybe a trip to France, maybe you've got a new syndicate ticket on a lake that has extreme range fishing, then getting this on your spool is going to be a game changer for making sure that you're getting extra yards on your Spomb. So to create your cushion leader, you need the Spomb Mono, and to start with, you're going to back-to-back grinner that to the XD braid. So you put the end of the mono parallel with the end of the braid, and then you do a grinner knot in the mono against the braid, 4 turns for that, and then the braid onto the mono, 5 turns for that. Pull them both down semi-tight first, wet the knots, pull them tighter again, and then butt them up together and trim off the ends. I then wind on 10 to 12 meters of the mono onto the spool and then cut it off, and that's where you tie your main shock leader. To do this, again, it's a back-to-back grinner. I do 4 turns from the braid onto the mono and then 5 turns from the mono onto the braid. So I've got the XD braid with the X Pro Mono cushion leader on, Spomb Mono leader, a MIDI X Spomb, the Spomb S 13 footer, and I'm clipped up at 40 wraps, which is 160 yards onto the clip. So I'm just going to demonstrate how that cushion leader works and how good this XD braid is for ultimate distance. Here we go. You can hardly hear the braid going through the rings, it's that smooth onto the clip. Pretty easy, I think.